And Sam, and welcome to What Are We Doing Here?
Let's get yapping.
Now we're for real this time. Me and Sam have been talking for 20 minutes. We were like, okay, we're gonna get on at like 6:15. Go. It's 6:40. So we've been talking for over 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and did not hit record. And I was like, man, we need to, let's go. Let's do this. Hit the record button.
We also have already talked for like 2 hours on the phone today.
We did. This is true.
We've talked a lot today, and still we were like, we're going to get on early. It's going to be good. We're going to be done early. And then it was like 30 minutes of just...
Well, still, I don't know if everyone, again, we say that we talk a lot, but it's like, again, we talked for about 2 hours earlier for 25 minutes before we hit go.
Yep.
And there was still things that I was like, oh my God, did I not tell you about X, X, and X? And did I not tell you about this? And you're like, how do we talk so much? And there's just always so much going on. So anyways, I wanted to talk about things we did this weekend because... it's actually funny because I have a Star Wars shirt on right now, and I didn't even realize it.
Okay, that is funny. That's literally, what is it? Foreshadowing? Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun.
How was your nerdy weekend?
I know. Well, so Revenge of the Sith, which is Star Wars movie 6, it was released originally 20 years ago, and so they did a re-release, and they did them with Phantom Menace and Empire Strikes Back. Like, they've done a re-release with all of them, right? And so this one, we went and saw it on Saturday. I somewhat like Padme, and it was like such a beautiful dress and an outfit, and it was
cute.
So subtle. It wasn't like over the top crazy, but it was enough that it was just cute. And I even was like, how much do you want to bet that there's going to be, I guess, like 10%, say there's like 50 people in the movie theaters, like 10% we're going to dress up. Almost everybody who came in that we saw had a Star Wars shirt on. There was one guy who was dressed completely like a Jedi. Yeah, everyone had a Star Wars shirt on. There's one guy who came exactly like a Jedi. Another guy had a stormtrooper helmet for like the 501.
Oh, God.
Squad.
So it was a full nerd fest.
Nerd fest. Oh, yeah. It was great. I loved it.
That
I was very
sounds
happy
fun,
about it. It was fun. And so everyone, we just sat and enjoyed the movie. And funny enough, though, the re-release is like number 2 overall, like grossing over the weekend. It's like breaking all these records for a re-release. And then it's also beating out like new movies. And to me, that is crazy. Like, you could watch this movie on Disney Plus. Like, we could go home and watch it again at home. And it's just like so many people wanted to see it again in theaters that it was great. And my boy Hayden Christensen is finally getting the love he deserves. So in case you guys aren't aware with Star Wars, he's the guy who plays Anakin. Love him. He's super cute. But originally when the movies came out, everybody hated it. They thought it was bad acting, like got so much shit for it, like all this stuff to where he kind of did a couple smaller movies, but then he left Hollywood entirely, like had a kid, had a farm, and then he's just now got reintroduced in Ahsoka on Disney, and it was like everyone was like, yeah, and
that
so all the
new?
Ahsoka, yes, yes, it is.
Those words, those vowels put together.
Ahsoka's his little Padawan. So you don't know this in the movie. So like, right, Anakin is Obi-Wan's Padawan. Anakin has his own Padawan. It's Ahsoka.
Oh.
And so you never see those in the movies, but in the books they're there, and they're in the shows on Disney, like Rebels, like they're in all the things. Anyways, or Clone Wars, not Rebels, Clone Wars. So in Ahsoka, the show, he makes his comeback. She talks to her old master, which is Anakin. And so he's like making a comeback, and all the millennials are like here for it. And he's finally getting all the recognition and stuff that he deserves for it. So it makes my heart really happy that he's finally like celebrated. Love him.
Getting his
He's getting his moment.
That he should have had 20 years ago.
That he should have had. Like, the movies are great. The movies are great. Their acting's great. Like, if you know Star Wars, you know the lore, they're great. Everything's good.
I didn't find anybody, Brie knows this, but my ex-boyfriend said, you've never seen Star Wars? Like, I'm going to sit you down and we're going to watch all 6 movies in one weekend. It was a very long weekend, especially for somebody that, as you know, doesn't like movies. But I didn't think when I watched it, I didn't think anything was bad, but to hear how much hate he got is very interesting and something that I
Yeah.
literally didn't know until 20 minutes ago. Like,
I think it's grown. And it's
mhm,
like now, like people my age that saw it again 20 years ago, it was
mhm.
like we grew up with it versus like the older people back then were like, what? So it's like the older
Oh,
people hated it, but
yeah.
now the people who like grew up with it are like, finally.
Mhm.
I was gonna talk about, so when me and James first met,
Yeah.
the thing we talked about and what got us talking was we talked about Ahsoka and about Star Wars because
Oh my
his phone,
God.
his lock screen is Ahsoka Tano's like face markings. And I was like, Ahsoka. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, Star Wars. And he was like, what? So then we were like, actually,
So that's what got you stuck on the couch for an hour. I literally tried. It was Halloween. I was
yes.
trying to pull this girl out of there. And I was like, I gotta go home. We gotta go. And she's like, no, I don't want
I
to.
don't want to
Waited.
go.
So it all started about Star Wars. Now we're
Star
full
Wars
circle there.
and Assassin's Creed. But now we're full circle.
Full
Yeah.
blown nerd over there.
Yeah.
Full blown.
Love
I'm a
Star
nerd
Wars.
in very, like, I'm
Different
definitely nerd
ways.
just in different ways.
Yeah.
But one other thing that you didn't mention that you did, it was a matinee movie. So all of these people are dressed up fully
At
like
3:30
this
at 3:30 in the afternoon on a Saturday.
on a
Yeah.
Saturday, people. Saturday.
Yeah, and guess what? Then we went to dinner and then we went home and we watched Final Celebrity Jeopardy and we fell asleep on the couch.
She almost told a
Living
story about you almost
living the
sending me a
best life.
picture.
I did. James was like, we should send Sam a picture of what we're watching in the time and the fact that we were on the couch. But it literally like we watched the final episode of Celebrity Jeopardy, saw who won, and then we turned off the TV and we like fell asleep on the couch and then we woke up and we were like, we should probably go to bed. Like went to bed. But I was like, what are we, 80? We went to a matinee movie, then we went to dinner, and then we watched Jeopardy and fell asleep. Like we are party people over here, guys. Party people.
What time did
Telling
you get to
you.
dinner?
Dinner actually wasn't
Eagle time?
no. Because the movie was from 3:30 to like 5:36. So by the time we got
Oh, I
over there,
forget
then
they're fucking long.
they are
Yes.
long, which was great. And so then we got over to the restaurant like a little after 6, and then it was like a 45-minute wait because it was 6 something on a Saturday. And so we didn't get
Fair.
we ate dinner at 7, home by 8, watched Jeopardy at 9. We were asleep by 9:30. Wonderful.
That makes more sense. Well, at least you didn't have old people dinner. Because there's always
Wait,
that like 4 o'clock, 5:30,
we do
like,
always
movie
do that.
ends, and you're like,
We do that too. But only
what?
sometimes.
You never partied in college, correct?
We did like house parties. But no,
Oh,
I was
God, yeah, I
never
knew that.
a
Like,
statute
did
of
you stay out
limitations
till
is
4 a.m.?
like maybe 1 or 2, but I was like the statute of limitations is over, right? I wasn't of drinking age before I
Yeah,
graduated.
that's
So I couldn't go to the bars, I couldn't go out because I wasn't of age. So we just did house parties.
and then people
And
didn't
I
stay
still
until
just no. I mean, maybe a couple times, but it was like, again, I can think of like on my hand the number of times we were out at a house party. It wasn't like a every week thing. It was like maybe once a month, maybe. Halloween, right? Like it was like special
Okay.
things.
See,
So
that is
no, I
so
didn't.
wildly different than my school. Like, I went to
Yeah.
University of Illinois. It's a Big Ten school. I looked it up. It's actually the 6th largest student enrollment in the U.S.
Really?
It's a
Wow.
massive
Yeah.
school.
Not
You
mine.
could get into bars at 19. You couldn't drink, but like once
Sure.
I'm in, yeah. And then it
We'll all
was
believe that when we see that. But anyways.
yeah, you could tell if you ever had a problem getting a drink, you knew a raid was coming. Because like the booths and the bars were all intertwined and whatever, so they knew ahead of time. So anyway, like I could get in at 19, so that was my freshman year, first semester. Everything was in walking distance, so you could bounce around. Like there were people out every single night. Like I partied Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays. Sometimes not Tuesdays, but like at least Thursday, Friday, Saturday at a minimum. And there were many times that I was out till 4. I've also partied till 6. That's very not often, but 3 o'clock was like average.
We had girls kicked off the volleyball team for partying. They were of age, and they got kicked off the team because during season it was coach's rule. There was no partying or drinking during season, and they were
I
like,
guess if you're a college athlete,
but they were like,
I
I'm of
understand
age.
that.
So that was the thing too, is it was like, even if you were of age, like if you were in season and stuff and you got caught or
Yeah.
like coach found out, like you were done. And that was for almost everything. And so then it was like, okay.
See, I would assume that our sports people had, like, if it starts affecting you, then you're
Then
kicked
it's-
off the team. But
Yeah.
our culture was just so drink, party, sororities. Like, we had the largest amount, like, huge Greek life, too. So it was just, like, that was the culture. So I don't think it was ever, like, I don't know, but, like, I doubt it was, like, no partying at all. Like, you just had too many people, and it was too big of a culture to do
The
that.
school was small enough to do that. But anyways, that's what I did this weekend. What did you do this weekend? I was a nerd and I was old. That's about what we got. We had a good weekend though. Like, these are weekends I wouldn't pass up for anything. Like, I love them so much. And it's such, like, I did Legos on Sunday. Like, he had to work on homework. Like, it was just such a good, wholesome, relaxing weekend. Yeah, I loved it. Wouldn't trade it.
No,
Anyways.
I'm very
I
happy
know.
for you, but we're just gonna poke fun just because it's
It's so funny because
you're a nerd and I love you.
I know. Well, it's funny because it's like you wouldn't expect that from people like us. And it's like, nope, yep, like, I'm sorry. I would rather be home by 9 o'clock, not going out at 9 o'clock, but that's fine.
Yeah.
So, anyways, what did you do this
I
weekend?
I did play video games on Friday.
Nice.
You told me about a game. It's called It Takes Two. It's a Xbox game. Super fun. Hunter and I
It's
got
on
to play
everything.
together. It's like, oh, is it?
Yeah. It's on everything.
Yeah. That is different than mine. So we got to play that, and that was really fun. We're like halfway through, but it's super long. It's like not an escape game, but it's like a
Co-op.
like a quest.
Yeah, it's like the girl sees her parents are getting divorced and she makes these dolls that resemble her parents, and somehow the parents' souls get put into these dolls. And so they're in the house and they have to actually like work together to like make their way out of the house, and it's supposed to like help heal their love and get them back together.
I had to like fight bees and I was working with squirrels. It's very like cute and cartoony, like claymation type kind. It's very fun. So we did that on Friday, and then Saturday worked out, and then we went on the lake on the jet ski, and that was really fun because that was the first time that second time, but that was like the first weekend that we got to take the ski out, go out for a while, zip around. It's like 80 degrees here, so it's not hot, but it's warm enough to be on the jet ski. It's not warm enough to go swimming, but I did jump in a couple times. But that was really fun because I love the ski. Like, I never would have bought it without Hunter. Like, him being like, oh, I love this. Also, our first date, you know this, but our first date was on a jet ski. Like, I met him at a bar. Okay, backstory. I met Hunter in 8th grade. I was in 8th grade, never met him once, never talked to him again. See him at a bar in 2020. Because the world had shut down, and he's like trying to ask me out, and I'm like, no. And then at like 5 o'clock one day, he's like, I was like, no, like, no thanks, blah, 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 whatever. 5 o'clock one day, he texts me and he's like, hey, I'm going out on my jet ski. Do you want to go? And I like turn to my mom and I go, well, I can't have a bad time on a jet ski. Like, even if he sucks, like, the jet ski's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
And then that was our first date. And then full circle, when we moved him down here, moved into this house, got the jet ski, and I'm like, yeah, okay, this is kind of cute. Like,
we can't have a bad time on a jet ski. That should be if you guys are arguing, you get on the jet ski, because then you can't be mad when you're on the jet ski. You know how people do that?
Idea. Yep.
You know how people go, when we're mad at each other, we have to talk in a British accent because it's hard to be mad, or they'll put on party hats.
Yep.
I've seen so many of them that people do different things to not like stew, because it's like, how can you talk to somebody and be angry when they have a party hat on or when they have something silly on? Like, you can't.
No,
So
you can't. And maybe that should be our couples therapy. Like, all right, we're angry. On the jet ski we go.
Yeah, go. And whoever's driving has to listen, and the person in the back gets to talk. And then when the other person needs to talk, you just flip. because the person driving needs to focus on what they're doing, and it's harder to talk.
You can't
like this person's and drive at the same time, but the person behind, and then you're just like, guess what? I didn't like that. Boing.
We've had some funny. I've been thrown off the jet ski because we had it last summer and then this summer. So I've been thrown off the jet. Is this our third summer? This is our third summer. Don't freaking listen.
Is it? Are you sure?
Yeah, because the first summer we moved here in July, so it was like half summer.
Got it. That's what's throwing me off because I was like, "Are you sure?"
Yeah, we moved in
so like 2.5
first. Yeah, so we've had so many times that I've fallen off that jet ski. We were, Eric. He's a big dude.
Like what? 6'7", 6'8",
6'9",
350.
and
there you go.
350.
Yeah,
He's a big dude. So we put him on a tube. He was like, I haven't been on a tube since I was a kid. Like, when was the last time you were on a tube?
A while
Been a
ago.
minute.
Yeah, it's been forever. High school maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe college one time, like if I went back home and we went out, but
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. We put him on it because none of us have been on a
tube.
On a tube recently. And so we put him on the tube, and not only did we get him flying off because we're like whipping around trying to throw him off, because of course that's what you do when somebody's on a tube. You're like,
of course,
only goal is to get this person in the water.
I have horror stories. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I bet you do, because you grew up on the lake.
I did.
So we threw him on the thing. He not only tips himself, but he tips us, all three of us that are on the jet ski. So all four of us into the water. We were like, what happened? But then we got on it. I will tell you, it's not that fun anymore. I understand why my parents never wanted to get on it.
Really?
I'm sitting here at 28 being like, I got off and I was sore. My neck hurt. My, face. I had been like this the whole time, so my jaw hurt. You're getting water completely splashed. You can't see a goddamn thing. And you get off and you're like, I have a headache now. Like,
yeah.
I was like, oh, it'll be fun. Fun. But as a kid, you probably remember it being the most fun time. You're like, get me on it, let me on, let me on.
Well, so we did because we had a boat. And so we used to wakeboard, ski, tube, like all the things, right? And so with tubing, we would put 2 tubes behind the boat. So not just one, you had 2.
Bumper
and so
boats?
So it would sling.
God,
so you would sling. You would sling one person outside of the wake. I'll find a video because it's hilarious.
Yeah.
You sling one person outside of the wake, and then you swing back. And when they come back, this person comes, boom, and slingshocks the other person out, and you just go back and forth. And so it's whoever can hang on wins. Oh no, it was so much fun. But there's been times that it's like if you get too close, that's why you got to be careful because some of the rivers had like bramble and like sticks and stuff like all on the edges. So you had to not get too close to the edge because if you flung them this way and they flew off, they're gonna go get impaled on some sticks. But funny story, I don't remember how old I was, but it was me and my sister on this tube. And my grandpa, which let me just preface this with, my grandpa also like races buggies, has really fast cars. We've talked about my brother having fast cars. Like it's all from that side of the family. My uncle races speedboats, used to race like NASCAR. My other uncle raced NASCAR, like all of them on that side. They're all grease monkeys.
I didn't know that.
They're like super crazy. And so we're just kids. And he was like, you guys want to do something fun? And we're like, yeah. And so we're going behind the tube. And then he starts going in a circle, in a circle, in a circle. And I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, he said this is going to be fun. And we're just going in a circle. We're just going. And then he cuts through the middle. And now he's created these big wakes. And he poop, poop, poop. And by the time we hit the third one, it was like bing, 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 and we were done. And it like shot us off so hard that me and my sister both like hit our head so hard on the water that we were like, we're done. And he was like, oh, come on, you don't want to go again. I was like, nope, not with grandpa.
Not with grandpa.
Not with grandpa. And it was the same, like you knew, because we would go out to the desert and go motorcycle riding and stuff too.
Yeah.
It was the same. He had a buggy, like a sand buggy.
So we don't get in car with grandpa.
it was like we had to like he knew too because we'd be like, Grandpa, if he'd be like, I promise we're just going on a ride, we're gonna go slow, and I'm like, I swear. I swear, if I get in this car with you. And so it was like, we knew we had to like talk to him and like get his word if he was going to take us. And like, granted, he was always really safe and stuff, but it's like, they just go so fast and so crazy, like up the really tall, crazy mountains. They'll tumble and do all the things. And they're like, well, that's why you have safety goggles on and stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to go flying over some hills. And like, I don't want to do that. And so
his version of safe is definitely different than your version of safe in those times.
Especially at the time. I mean, it's probably by the time we were 8 to like 14, maybe. So it was like very different. But I mean, they're just crazy. So we knew anytime, and it's the same with my brother. It's like he was always like used to race dirt bikes, like all this stuff. So you knew that if you were going with him, that it was going to be like super crazy. And you were like, can we tone it down a little bit for me? Like, please. And so they were just always crazy. But we grew up on the lake and in the desert, but lake specifically, like I started off skiing and then wakeboarding. And I think out of everything, wakeboarding is probably my favorite. I haven't been in so long.
I was just going to ask, so good job reading my mind. That was
exactly what was my favorite. Yeah, I think wakeboarding, it was fun. It was fun. It definitely helps if you have like a wakeboard tower and stuff, but yeah. It was still fun. I would do it. The one thing I haven't done that I really want to do is snowboarding because it's kind of the same, but different.
Never skied, but I've snowboarded in my neighbor's backyard, but it actually had like a little backyard hill. That's all I've ever done snowboarding, but I really want to go skiing. I think I put that in my
water
mini
skiing
adventures. I think we had this exact conversation. You said that same thing. I want to go snow skiing, but water skiing I've tried once as a kid. We didn't live on a lake, and so we would do family vacations up to like the lakes or whatever, and I did water skiing one time. And I remember getting up, but I was like less than 14, like I was in middle school kind of age. So like I did it once, but it counts, but like doesn't count. I want to do it as an adult. Yeah. I'm assuming wakeboarding is harder than water skiing?
I only did double skis when I was a kid, and that was for us. That was literally like, we stood at the dock. We're like 4, 5 maybe, 6, and it's just like you're in these little double skis that are tied together, and it was just to get you started, and you just held on, and it would take you. Pink. Yeah. So once you got out of that, like once we got into the wakeboard, we didn't go back to the double skis.
That makes sense.
So I don't really know. My mom used to single ski. She said that was fun. I could imagine single skiing or even like barefoot skiing. Like, no way.
Barefoot skiing, I've seen people do that, and that looks
you have to go extremely fast to be able to do that, which is nuts. 'Cause I mean, even for wakeboarding, you have to be going like 15 to 17 miles per hour. Like, wonk, like 15 to 17 miles per hour, pull them out of the water. I got hit by a fish once. Like a fish jumped out of the water, like jumped and smacked me. And I was like, what just hit me? And they were like, a fish.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I wish you had that on video, because that's just like, it's one of those stories that people are like, yeah, right. And you're like,
it happens all the time, actually. Like, if you think about it, like, people get hit by stuff all the time out of the water. Like,
I guess I literally saw a reel yesterday about he was parasailing or something, and a whale jumped up and hit him, and he had a GoPro, and so he watched this whale.
That's nuts.
No.
Again, the ocean is scary. The ocean is scary.
The fact that they've literally only discovered like 3%, 10% or 3%, something literally wild.
Like even 10%. I'm sorry. There's still 90% of it is unknown, which is nuts. No way.
There's monsters down there with the little light from
Finding Nemo. They're actually small though.
What do you mean?
Those are
I know, but there's like big ones in there. I promise you. You're telling me only a small one? They didn't get big?
No, but I'm saying I'm pretty sure they like in general are small, but I don't know. I could be so wrong.
I have really 2 funny boat stories that, since we're talking about boats. So, where do I want to go?
I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat. Motherfucker. Thank you for knowing what song I was talking about right away.
I hope other people sang along.
Yes.
Okay, so when Hunter and I met, okay, throwing it back to that, he had a jet ski. That was how he got me out on the first date. And I was like, okay. And then he asked me out, and I was like, okay, I guess. Well, a couple weeks later, I had, like, not answered him. And then he was like, hey, do you want to go out on my boat? And I go, this man has a jet ski and a
And a
boat?
boat?
Hell yes.
Holy, sign me
No.
up.
I don't know if you know this. This is gonna be, you're gonna be like, that's so Hunter. It's literally perfect. So I get there and I'm like, yeah, we're gonna go on your boat. And he goes, yeah, the boat doesn't run. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, I said we can go on my boat. I didn't say how we're gonna get to my boat
there.
or how we're gonna get the boat out of
Isn't it like in the middle of the water and you had to ride to it?
He took the jet ski and pulled the boat with the jet ski into the middle, and then we sat on a boat. And
On
he
the
was
boat.
like, I
That
asked
is
you if you
very
wanted to go
Hunter.
on the boat. I didn't say, did you want to go on a running boat?
Yeah, that is very Hunter, but that's also kind of funny. Like such a funny story.
I
Just to be
mean-
like, you towed this boat in the middle of the water so we could sit on it. I can't go nowhere, and then we got off and you towed it back. Yeah.
I mean, it worked. Like, I was like, not answering him. So it worked, and clearly 4 years later. But second story, which is actually beforehand, or maybe, but in the same summer, we are out at some bar, me, Savannah, and this guy named Chris. We're out at this bar. We're like, 35 minutes away from the house. And he's like, oh, my friend Jason has a boat. Do you want to go on it? And we're like, hell
Sure.
yeah, we want to go to a boat.
Yeah.
We get on this boat. We start driving. And I mean, we were driving for like probably an hour. And people are drunk. Probably shouldn't have been on the boat. And after an hour, we're like, okay, like, hey, like, what time are you thinking about heading back? And he goes, oh, I'm not heading back. And we're like,
What do you mean?
You're not heading back? And he's like, no, I'm too drunk to drive. My car's in across like 40 minutes away. I'm going there. And you're like,
What?
You didn't tell us that you
Yeah.
weren't coming home before we got on your boat? No.
Yeah.
So he just was like, no, I'm drunk. My car's over there. Sucks to be you. I go,
What'd you guys do? Did he
So-
just drop you off somewhere?
So we drive all the way, take his boat all the way, because we're, again, like, the boat ride was probably like 2 hours. Like, it was across the lake. So we get there, we get back to the place. We all get in his car, because that's the smartest thing to do, but
After this person just said, no, I'm not taking you back. It's okay.
he goes,
We're
I'm
alive.
too drunk to drive. Like, I'm too drunk. I'm going to go home. We decide to get in the car, because, again, we're in the middle of nowhere. We get back to his house. It's 4 o'clock in the morning.
Jesus.
I cannot get an Uber. There's no Ubers at 4 o'clock in the morning where we
Yeah.
live. No way. So we wait around in his garage until 5:30, 5:45 when the first Uber comes and picks us up. And then he has to take us 45 minutes across town. We get in the
Jesus.
car. We go back home. And my friend Chris we dropped him off. He showered and went to work.
Jesus. That's nuts.
I don't know what I was thinking. Again, not the smartest thing, but yeah, I was like, who doesn't tell somebody that they're not going back to the place they picked? There was like 8 of us on the boat. Like,
Yeah. Who like what? What? To me, it's like those people to me, I'm like, I'm never going with you anywhere again. I don't understand why you were just like, I don't know what you guys are doing, but you're on my boat, but I'm going all the way over here and like,
and
sucks
he
to be
didn't tell us
you.
till an hour in. Like,
Yeah.
to me, that just would have never crossed my mind to be like, this is what I'm doing. I don't care about the 8 people I just told to come on my boat. Again,
Yeah.
don't be a dick. Just,
I was going to talk about, I was on a boat with somebody, and growing up, Dad always had us help him bring the boat back in, right? Someone had to sit with the boat. Like, he taught boat safety, right?
ropes.
Everyone has to have a life vest, how to tie the buoy, you know, how to hitch it back up, how to get it in, how to raise the motor, like all the things. Like, all of us kids knew how to do this. It was like, you know, you never know if an emergency happens and Dad hit his head and is unconscious and we got to go to the hospital, right? Like, we have to be able to drive this boat back to the dock. And so
That's just your
yeah,
dad.
so dad, we would always take turns, and even mom grew up on boats too.
Yeah.
So it was like we would always go drop mom or dad off, and then
Mm-hmm.
one of them was in the boat with us, and we would take turns, and it was like, all right, like put the boat on the ramp. And it's like you've done it with the Sea-Doo or with the jet
Yep.
ski. Like
Yes.
you have to get you have to get it just right. When you hit it just right, you won't like
Yep.
so I've been out with a person on a boat, and it was
Mm-hmm.
like only one person knew how to do it. And it's like you have to be pretty fucking skilled to tie up a boat by yourself. We watched that guy in your backyard load
Yes.
his boat all by himself. And we were like, that was pretty impressive. Like you just did that whole thing all
Yeah.
by yourself, not even with a boat ramp. Like
The
he just
truck.
came down on the rocks, put his boat ramp in the water, and whoop,
I
and then
totally forgot about that.
and
That
tied
was
his boat
so
up.
wildly
And we
impressive.
just watched the whole thing. It's like 50 feet in front of us. We were like,
We cheered and everything. It was
yeah,
so like, no way is he gonna do it. And then he,
yeah. And we were like, yeah, you've done that. He was like, maybe a few hundred times,
yeah.
right? So anyway, so usually it takes two people. Well, only one person
That's
knew how to load the boat. And so he was like trying to explain it to the rest of us. And I was like, hey, if you don't mind, like I grew up doing this, like I can try. And they finally
Yeah.
were like, yeah, like fine, you can help. Like, they're all getting frustrated. And I was like, it's
Yeah.
really not this hard. If you get it right, you put the boat up enough, somebody click it, you crank it up,
Yep.
pull the boat out of the water.
It's like that's where you let some people have too much ego to let the
And
person
pride.
and pride, ego, pride, pride's a
Yeah.
better word. Like let the person that's done it and grew up doing it to go do it.
Or at least ask for help and just be like, hey, I haven't done this in a really long time. Like, do you have any pointers, or like, can you help? Or like, I'm going to try
Yeah.
a couple times, and if I don't get it, would you mind? Like,
Yeah.
this is when you accept that you haven't, like, I even said, hey, I haven't done it in a really long time, but I can help. Like, just
Yes.
let me know if you want help. Like, again, I haven't done it in a really long time, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like riding a bike. Like, I know theoretically what we're supposed to be doing, and I've done it a few times. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but also thanks, Dad. Boat safety and what you're supposed to do. Teaching us life
That
things.
conversation that you had on the boat with your dad would have never happened in my life. Never.
Really?
Nobody, because we used to rent pontoons
Mm-hmm.
like for our family vacation. Because
I've never been on a pontoon.
Really? It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
never.
Highly recommend. They're just big barges and they're just nice
Yeah.
with chairs. But
Yeah.
that's what we would rent, and we would go 16 of us fucking putz around. But none of my family knew how to do any of that, and
Mhm.
never did they ever think to teach anybody or like explain, hey, we all have these life vests. Like my family is going to be the first ones dead in a anything.
But I mean, I hope that resonates with some people of like, Dad was
Yeah.
really like, hey, accidents happen, and hopefully nothing ever did happen while we were out on the boats. But like,
Yep.
what if another boat hits us? What if this happens? Like, where's the fire
What if I just
extinguisher?
pass out?
What if I just get heat exhaustion and I pass out? And like,
Which is a really like easy
Dad-
thing to happen.
well, and Dad wakeboarded too. So like, we would pull Dad.
Oh,
Like,
yep.
so like Dad and Mom would wakeboard and see. So it's like you had to know like the safety flag, like what to do, like what side of the boats, like
Yep.
all the things to do that. Hey, if something happened, like how are we getting out of here? And like again, once you teach it once, it wasn't like every single time Dad was like, okay, no fun for the first hour. We're doing safety briefs like this.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, no, we went through it.
Mhm.
You learned, and then you had fun. And it was always like, hey, like where's the life vest? Where's the fire extinguisher? Where's this? And even in Texas, like, the
DNR. Tex Park Rangers.
yes, but the game wardens. That's what I was trying to think of. You
Sorry,
knew what
they're
I knew.
They're called something
Yes.
different in Illinois, but
Yes,
they're the game
the-
wardens down here.
Yeah, the
A lot
game
of
wardens
people.
can stop. Yeah, they can stop anybody on a boat and be like,
Yep.
"Where's your guys' life vest? Where's the fire extinguisher? Where's the boat registration? Like, where is this?" And it's like, you should know where all that is, regardless of even a police or someone in that field asking you for it.
I didn't have any of this. Like we've talked about this before. I was so wildly unprepared until I
Mhm.
started hanging out with you a couple of years ago. Like
Mhm.
it has really changed my view of like you don't have to prepare for the worst. You don't have to prepare for anything crazy, but like every day you get in the car, that's an option for a car accident. Every time you go out to a museum, like, and you have kids, that's a chance to get lost. Like, it doesn't mean you're speaking it into existence or like you're gonna scare your kid. Like, it really just, like, even for me as an adult, like, it just makes me go, if something happened, I would feel better about it. And I
I'm
think
prepared.
I think that just is like, the heat exhaustion is a great idea. Like, that can happen anywhere. Like, what do you do? Just having that, like, has actually helped my anxiety, like, be a lot more calmer to be like, I can figure this out with
Well,
something.
and even like most of the times when an emergency does happen for something simple, heat exhaustion, heat stroke, somebody passes out, like most people initially panic. And it's like those first moments are so crucial as to like what to do. So it was like we always knew like what to do if somebody passed out. What about heat exhaustion? Like what's the best thing? Like obviously you still need to call 911 and get them to a hospital, but it's like there's things that you could do to help them, you know, how big a wound has to be to use a butterfly bandage versus stitches, and like how to do a tourniquet, and like you know where the major arteries are, so in case something is above or below, like where to put stuff in relation to your heart, like, but it's like
Things that
again
you
none
would
of
want to know in the heat of the moment.
in an emergency you can't be like, hang on, let me Google this real quick and try to figure it out. Like your brain is not gonna be like, oh, let me try to figure out what's going on or whatever. Like you're gonna be panicking because this person's bleeding or just passed out in the boat or wherever you're at, like you know, and what to do for that.
One of your dad's best saying is, you don't fall, what is it? You don't fall to the level of knowledge, you fall to the level of training. Like, you fall to what you've practiced. You fall to what you've thought about more than just what you saw in Grey's Anatomy. Like, there's arteries there, but like, if you've never actually grabbed a rope and figured out how to like tie off a leg because it's bleeding, like, you're gonna fall to like this unknown. And that, I think, to me was like, hey, wait, I could actually like make a difference. Like, I can make a difference in me. I would feel a lot more calm in those things. So I think not only is it great for teaching kids, I think if you are here in your 20s, 30s, like where basically everybody in this podcast is, like, I think that is so powerful to learn now as an adult.
Even CPR, infant CPR, like,
it's one thing
how
I
many
want to do so badly. I want to take a CPR class so badly.
Yeah.
Mini adventure.
Mini adventure to do.
I tried to get the safety officer at the forensics job to do a CPR class because she had asked, like, would you be interested? And I was like, I would be so interested. Give me the... Clearly that never happened, but that's one thing.
No, they did it. They did it after you left. But it's very easy to go find, but knowing CPR on an adult is very different than knowing CPR for an infant. Like, you could actually kill them doing CPR like you would on an adult than you would for a child. And when to know the difference on, like, if you do CPR like an adult on a kid, like, you'll crack their ribs. Kill them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can you imagine, like, trying to feel like you're helping and you actually kill them because you did it the wrong way? Like,
babies scare me. Babies are really cute, but they scare me.
They are, it can be scary. Anyways, Sam asked a really good question, guys, a couple weeks ago, and I had to think about it. And now I kind of have an answer. I mean, at least enough to kind of talk about it. So Sam had asked, why did you have kids? Like,
and we haven't talked about this, so I'm excited.
Yeah, we haven't talked about this. So Sam's question was, why did you have kids? Like, why did you want them, right? And I was like, it's a great question. Like, it was a good, like, I was like, I want to have a good answer for you. And so I wanted to sit with it.
Okay.
Because I guess in my mind, so at the time, I was 24.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, was I 24?
You would have been 23, 24, yeah. Yeah, but that's when they were born. So you would have been pregnant at 23.
Nope, same year, 2020. I found out I was pregnant with them. I was like, I found out I was pregnant with them on my 24th birthday, like officially, on the doctor.
Got it.
I went to the doctor on my birthday and they were like, well, this could be a really good or bad test. And I was like, thank you. Like, I'm pretty positive, but thanks anyways. So 24.
Yeah.
I felt secure with what I was at. But I think in my mind, I had always been told, like, I think you would make a really good mom. And I was like, I don't know if I believe you guys. Like, I was never around babies. Even when I was like, what do I do with this? Like, it was always never like a close friend. It was like distant family. It was distant
Those are already making
family.
me happy.
Oh, good. It was distant, like, family members or like friends of friends. And I was like, I don't know what you're doing with your kid. Like, it wasn't somebody like I would be so different with your kid than I would be with kids that I was around growing up, which again wasn't very many. But people had always told me, like, I think you would just make a good mom. And I was like, I don't know if I would. I don't really know. But I think I got to a point that I was like, I could have a kid. Like, I could raise another life. And dad always explained it as like, you love Hunter, right? You love Hunter with all your heart. And he was like, that doesn't even come close to the love that you have for your own kid. And he was like, you can't explain it. It's like something that you might think you know, but you don't know until you have a kid. And until I could feel them kicking in my stomach and I knew that they were there and like I had them and I held them, like I was like, I would unalive people for these kids. Like I would turn the world upside down. Like I would give anything to see these people grow and to make them into good human beings and have this thing that I made that I can flourish and just watch evolve. And it's like the next generation. Like it's still, and I know some people are like, oh, I want a piece of me in the world. It wasn't like I want a piece of me for my own, genes to pass on and I want to pass along my name. Like it was more like that's a piece of me that is always here. And like, I'm always attached to them. And it's just something like they've taught me so much. That was really unexpected. Like, I think there's so many things that they can teach you about yourself that you don't know, that you go, oh shit, that's a me problem. And I don't want to put that on them. Or these are things that my own parents didn't do with me, or these are things that I've learned. And it's just helping the next line, like, grow up. Like, I want to see the world succeed. Like, I want to see them succeed. I want them to be happy. Like, it's just such a purest form of love. And yes, even though I made the kids that I have now with my ex-husband, who I'm obviously not in a relationship with, it's like at the time, I loved him enough to go, I want to create life. And I think I can create it and take care of it. And I obviously do that on my own now. And it was just a very because at first it was like, well, our friends are having kids. And I was like, that's not a reason to me. Like, a reason isn't, oh, well, my friends are having kids, so I should have kids. Like, there's people now that I go, I don't think you're ready for kids. And like, you're never truly ready, but it's like, I don't think emotionally you're ready. And I think at the time, like, I look at you and I'm like, I think you're emotionally ready now. I think it would teach you a lot of things. Yeah. I know it's scary, but it's like, I know you. And it's like, same with me. It's like, I just think emotionally as a person and as a couple, like, that helps you grow more. But yeah, created life. It just is like a nice, to me, it's the purest form of love.
I have a question. So, I've heard your dad say the love expands, whatever. Because he asked me, he was like, are you having kids? And I was like,
I know.
I keep saying ask me when I'm 30, which, again, I realized is literally next year. But besides the point, I didn't know that you didn't grow up around kids. Just seeing how you are as a mom, because I met you as a mom. Like, I figured that's pretty clear. But, like, I've always known you as a mom. I think you're a fantastic mom.
Thank you.
And that's why I ask you 7 million questions. But I just assumed, because of how good you were, that you grew up around kids, knew what to do with them, knew how to interact with them. Blah, blah, blah.
Because none of my uncles had kids. I only had one cousin that was relatively close to the same age as us. She is 2.5, 3 years younger than I am. So we grew up together. It's not like she was a baby.
Yeah, that's different.
There was one person that I could be like completely like, yeah, it was like my sister's friend at the time, got pregnant straight out of high school,
Okay.
And so then I was like 10 or 11, and then she had her kid and was like around, and my mom helped sometimes.
Okay.
And that was it. Other than that, it was like visiting again, like my other uncle, um,
Very once
had
in a while.
had a kid, 13 years ago. Great. I was already out of high school. Like, so it was like I never was around them growing up. Like I said, that one kid, that's
Interesting.
all I can think of. And that's
Mhm.
why it always struck me too, for people to be like, I think you would be a great mom. And I'm like, what? Like, what do I do?
That's how I feel. Because I've had people say that you literally
What is flashing?
rude. My light.
Your lights, how many times did it flash?
It's dying.
Well, I was like, it's the universe telling you.
I just feel like that's so, like, I'm surprised by that because, like, I've had people tell me I'd be a great mom, and that's how I feel. Like, you literally
Mhm.
just told me I would, but I don't know how to be around kids. Your kids make it a little bit more easy because, like, I've been around them now, but, like,
Mhm.
I don't know what to do with babies. I don't know how to talk to them, and I didn't grow up with all of them. My cousins are my age, so, like,
It's your kid. That was the biggest thing that just like clicked. It's your kid. You talk to them, you do with them whatever you want. That was the hardest part for me when this other like little baby came around, is I was like, I don't know what you do. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what you do with him. So like, how would I know what to do? It's your
Oh,
kid.
I see what you're
Do you
saying.
see what
Is
I'm
like
saying? Like, it's other
you
people's
don't know how
kids.
to
So
interact with the baby because you don't know how the mom interacts with the baby to be
correct.
right or on the right.
It's it's the same if you went around other people who had babies that you didn't know. You wouldn't know how
Mhm.
to interact with that baby because it's not, you don't want to overstep. It's not your kid. It's not your best friend's kid. It's not somebody that you know. So you're like, I don't. And of course, like when we're out now, if I see a kid who needs help or something, like I'll help them. But I've seen the differences even with like other people in general. If it, like, I'm sorry, I have my own kids and I don't know how to interact with your kid because I don't know what you do. Because there's
Oh,
so
so
many
that's
different ways
still
to,
the same kind of feeling.
still
That
the same
doesn't.
kind of feeling. Like, of course, if the kid
Interesting.
needs help or something, I'll step in. But I would have done that
Yeah.
before. But
Mhm.
it's, to me, it's different because they're your kids. You have, you made them. They came out of you. You literally from day one talk to them. You see them every day. You know what little movements, the face they make when they're upset, the face they make when they're hungry, how they act, how they this. Like,
Mhm.
you know everything about them.
Mhm.
And then back to the love thing, to me, it's the purest form of unconditional love.
Okay.
This kid does not have to do anything, does not have to be anything, has to do nothing to be
Mhm.
loved. We do it in relationships, right? Where you go, oh, I love you because of this. Like, you would hope in your relationship you have unconditional love. This person can do whatever they want
Yeah.
and you will still love them. But we've seen that that's not always the case. They could do
Mhm.
something really bad and you're like, I can't do it, right? Like, I can't get past that. With the kids, to me, it's the purest form of unconditional love.
Do you think it helped you accept you more? Because you were like, this human being deserves love regardless.
Mm-hmm. And it's
Okay.
cute. So, like, even there's been instances where it's like, I put on a dress or something, and the boys be like, Mommy, the dress is so pretty. You look so beautiful. And like, I'm gonna start crying now. I'm gonna start crying now. Or even like,
That was so cute.
even like I'll make food or I'll do something and I'll be like, Mommy, you make the best food ever. Like, it's so good. Or like, Mommy, you did so good. That was such a good job. And it's like, not all kids are like that.
Mhm.
But to me, it's like, I've taught them how to accept that and how to compliment people. You guys can see my tears because this is just, it's cute with kids. But for them to say that, it's not like I'm going, hey, is mommy doing a good job? Is this a good dinner? Like, it's just from them.
Yeah.
And they would do it all the time, even when they were like not speaking words. It was always like they would come up and just hug you or they would come kiss you.
Mhm.
And you're like, I didn't do anything today, or I felt like a piece of trash, but this little human being loves me because
You're
I'm
gonna make me
mom.
cry.
But this is what I'm talking about. Of like, this is what kids do. Um, and obviously there's days that you can get frustrated but
Yeah.
it's just like them. Or they'll be like, Mommy, like, why are you sad today? Or like, are you okay? And it's just, they're the purest form, like I said, of unconditional love. Like they will
Yeah.
love you regardless because you're their mom, and you're gonna love them because they're your kids. But they're so honest, and you know that they're not saying that, or they're not bullshitting you just because of X, Y, and Z. Like kids are so truthful. They don't know how to lie.
No, I know.
They don't. Like they'll straight up lie to me, not on purpose, but they'll like say something. I'll be like, "Are you lying?" They'll be like, "No," and I'm like, "You don't even know what I'm talking about." Great, perfect. We still don't know what lying is.
Yeah.
But
you didn't know,
they're
obviously,
just so
you didn't
great.
know how much of an impact it was going to be. Like, you could think of what you think it's going to be.
You
and
could
then
try, yeah.
the difference of crying versus not crying, right?
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to lose. Like, I'm just figuring out who I am, that I'm afraid that if I have kids, that's going to, like, pause it, which
I think
know
it'll open it more.
happens. So I think
it'll open it more.
Really?
You try to do adult things. I eat chicken nuggets and mac and cheese a lot of the times for dinner. I color. I do crafts. Like, I still go do my adult things, but I get to still enjoy the simple things that I don't recognize that I'm missing, and the kids point it out. Because the kids they play hide and go seek, or they want to play tag, or they want to go to the park, or they want to ride their bikes, or they want to go for a walk around the park, and they want to take the dogs, or they want to play swords. We're playing Nerf gun battles. But we do Nerf gun battles. Like, you wouldn't do Nerf gun battles just you and Hunter. You might, but like, if you have someone who's going, "Mommy, play with me," or like, "I want to do a board game. Mommy, will you play?" Or, "I want to do crafts," or "I want to do this," or you get to play more because you have your kids. And of course, you could tune that out. Like, you could go, "Oh, I'm not going to play. I got to do the dishes." Like, it's actually helped me with doing chores, because it's like, I know there's stuff that I have to do, and the kids help me sometimes with them. But it's like, you go, "Oh, I have to do the dishes, or I have to do this, or I have to do this, and then I'm going to sit on the couch, and then I'm going to watch TV." It's like, you don't get that option with kids. You don't get the option. You're up. You don't get to sleep in. You're up at 6:30 when they actually are sleeping through the whole night. You're up at 6:30, 7 o'clock. You're up. They don't sleep in. Like, you're up, and then you're like, "Great, they need breakfast, I need breakfast. All right, then we're gonna go play, or we're gonna do crafts, and I'm gonna, load the dishwasher."
I've heard kids teach you to slow down, and that's kind of what I'm hearing from you. Slow down and play. Like, slow down and be a kid again, like it's not that serious.
Yeah, and you don't think about it. It just becomes part of your life. Because they'll play for an hour or so, and so you'll sit and play with them, and then it's dinner time, and then it's this, and it's just...
Not so just chore tasks to do...
I'm gonna go to the store, I'm gonna do this. It's like, you more lump it all together. That's why, like, I'll go to the store once a week, maybe with them, versus stopping by and grabbing something, or doing this. Or we've been doing the movie nights, we do board games. Like, I do more stuff now than I did before I had the kids. Before I had the kids, it was like work, come home, make dinner, sit on the couch, watch TV, go to bed. Probably sounds like
really
what you're
cool
doing.
To hear, because that's exactly what I'm doing. It's really cool to hear that you say that you actually do more stuff now. Because I feel like the bad narrative is like, you lose yourself, you don't have time ever, you can't go travel. Like, those are the big three very negative side. And I didn't hear any of the positive until you, and then I was like, if I ever want to have kids, like, I need to start finding people that talk positively about children, and not just like
here's my thing, and it's harder with two. You need a friend or somebody to go with, but you have one kid.
Yeah.
Why not go travel? Why not teach your kid how to get on an airplane, or how to hike, or how to do... And like, obviously some stuff is very age dependent on some things. Like, you might want to wait until or whatever, but it's like, I have friends who have started with their kid when she was 2, and they've hiked all over the place. She now goes camping. She's 5, maybe 6 now. But they have like, it's like a backpack, and the kid sits in the back. Go hike. Teach her about nature. Teach her about hiking, about water, about this. Like, why not? To me, when people go, "Oh, I can't leave the house because I have my kids. I can't leave it." And of course, like, sometimes I'm like, it's kind of a hassle sometimes to do that. But it's like I go
leave today,
or like, "Hey, I just want to do some stuff at home because we've been out and about a lot." Like, I actually had somebody tell me, like, you do so much with your kids, but it shows when we go out in public. They
Do you
know it
think-
because we've done it so many times. I think it's a balancing system. I don't think you go, oh, I'm not allowed to do anything. I'm sorry, you go on the jet ski, yeah, you're not going to be flipping around and doing whatever, but put the baby in a life vest and stick it between you and hold it. I'm sorry, you're telling me, like, I would take the boys, and of course it would be really slow,
Yeah.
but, like, why
And
not?
you could still do it.
You could still do it.
So you're
It's
saying
just
it actually
different.
is the people that say, like, oh, I can't leave because I have my kids. You're like, you're not actually you're not letting. What I just heard is, like, you need to experience life so you can teach them life. That's what I just heard.
They learn through you. How are you expecting them to learn how to do anything or this? And again, I get it where there's sometimes you're like, they're crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But how do you teach them to do life stuff if you're not doing life stuff with them? When are they going to learn it?
To the other two, I think this would be a good ending. What to the other two, you lose yourself, and fuck, what was the other one? We'll just go there. To the other
You
one
lose
that
yourself?
people say, like, the negative of lose yourself. What would you have to say about that? Because I
Well,
think
so-
you've given a positive spin to this, and I
Uh-huh.
think that would be good to hear.
Well, so I had really bad postpartum anxiety with the
Yeah.
kids. Like, did not trust people with them, did not want to separate from them. Like, very, like, things are going to happen. Like, no. And I think part of it was they were born a little early. They weren't NICU babies, but they were technically preemie babies.
Oh.
And they were healthy and all the things. Like, yeah, they were technically still preemies,
Okay.
but they weren't NICU. Like, they didn't have any NICU time, which was great.
Yeah.
But I think that was part of my fear was it was like they're so little and people want to do all these things with them, and I don't think their body was ready for it.
Uh-huh.
And it's like now that they're older, like, let's go. Like,
Yeah.
what do you want to do? Right? So I think it has come with time, but I think there was a point for a while that everything was about the kids. And it's the kids, the kids, the kids, the kids, the kids. And I think, especially for the relationship that I was in at the time too,
Yeah.
that didn't help. And I did lose myself for a bit. We've had this because I was like, I don't know what I like anymore. Like, I don't know what
Yeah.
I like to do. And I don't know what it means to take care of myself. Like, I lost all of it. And I think part of it was just the partnership of
Yeah. It
I
definitely
wasn't
didn't help.
it didn't help. But I think, like, if I was to do it again, or, like, even looking at, like, you and Hunter, like,
Mhm.
you have to let them, like, the dad has to want to, but you have to let them.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, like, I'm gonna take a shower, or, it's like you have to have that partnership of that person that is kind of helping you too. Because
Mhm.
again, you have so many hormones, your body goes through so much, but, like, there is a time for a while that you are gonna lose yourself. I think it's just, you can't fight it, but I think you go, okay, great, for the first 3 months or the first 6 months,
That
I'm
is the point.
fully trying. The whole point is to get this baby to a good point where they're eating solid food, where they're getting off of formula, they're going into solid, like, like, there's milestones that they hit, and it's like, okay, now they're crawling, now they're walking. Like, there's still things, like, as they develop. I think 3 to 6 months you start getting out there more. 6 months to 9 months you get out a little bit more. 9 months to a year you get out a little bit more. I think past a year you're like, okay, because that's kind of where I went, okay, I like reading. I got a Kindle. I started reading again. Like,
You're like,
I
I've
started-
kind of
I've got
settled.
this now. And especially in, like, it might take people faster or slower. And I think it just helps too of, like, you obviously have me as a mom friend, but I think it's having that community too. Like, if you have other mom friends or other people in general who are just willing to come sit with you. And I didn't have anybody at that time
Mhm.
that would just come be with me. It was just me and the kids. Just me and the kids,
Do you
me and the
think
kids, me and the
knowing
kids.
that you are gonna lose yourself, and that's, like, the point, is because you're becoming, before you have kids and after you have kids, you're two different people. So, like, losing yourself allows you to become that new person. Like, do you
I
think
think so.
knowing that would have felt like,
I
okay,
think
I know
having,
why.
I think it only happens with your first kid. And the reason I say that is because if I had another kid now with the two boys, their life cannot be on hold
Okay.
because this new
Oh,
baby's
yeah.
here. So it's
Mhm.
like, I already know. I know what to look for because looks like you have SIDS, you have which is sudden infant death syndrome, right? Like
I know
you have
that's from
SIDS,
TV.
right? Like you have SIDS, which is a real thing. You have
Yep.
just things that could happen to them when they don't know what to do with themselves. But
Yeah.
it's like that kind of went into the postpartum anxiety of like, how do I know? And it's like now I'm like, all right, I kind of know what I'm
Yeah.
doing. Like
That's
I would be
fair.
more prepared for it now, and there's nothing you can do about it. But it's like their life can't be on hold. So if they have a game or they have practice or they have a recital, like guess what, babe? New baby, we're going.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going and we're out and we're with their other friends and we're going to the park because they can't not go to the park for 6 months. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's not fair to them. So I think having either other mom friends, like if you had a kid right now,
Yeah.
I would be like, come on, like let's go over, or I'm gonna bring the boys. And it's like we would go out and we would be out and we would be whatever. Like
Yeah.
I didn't have that, and I think that hurt me a lot was I didn't have somebody who would just come over and to sit with me. It was always focused on the kids, which
Mm-hmm.
is great, but at the same time too, I was like, no one's here to come just see me. Like
Yeah.
no one just you want to see the kids, you want to help the kids, but I think it was just a tie back of like when I was moving. I know the
Yes.
kids are going to be taken care of, but I'm going to take care of you. You
Mm-hmm.
have a baby, I'm going to go, what do you need? Do you need
Yeah.
the house cleaned? Do you need dishes? Do you need laundry? Do you need food? Because you're focused on the kid. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's what I was. I'm focused on the kid. I don't need more people focused on the kid.
I got the kid.
I'm
Like.
already there. I need help
Mm-hmm.
with everything else because I'm trying to figure out how to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think another person said this really nicely. They paid for a nanny at night
I
or in
saw
the
that. I've
after
seen people talk about that.
or in the afternoon. And basically what they did is they hired this nanny to come or this caretaker, and it's like
Yeah.
mom focused on the baby and the nanny did the dishes. She pre-made all the bottles for the next day, cooked dinner, like
Oh.
prepped meals, and so they paid this person to basically come over for a few hours,
Mm-hmm.
pick up the house, do some laundry, fold it, put it away, make some meals, clean bottles, and go home. Or they would pay
That's
the
a
person at night.
fantastic idea.
And these people specialize in this, and they start sometimes in the middle of the night, and they might go from like 12 p.m. so midnight to like
Yeah.
6 in the morning. And so they do the midnight feedings with the baby so you can get some sleep,
Mm-hmm.
and then they clean the bottles, do some laundry, do whatever. And I was like, that's a great idea. Even if you didn't pay for it, like even if I was like, hey, you know what? Like I'll come over once a week and I'll
Yeah.
help with your laundry or I'll help with this. Because it's like, not only that, like just have people rotate or I'll bring you food. What dinners do you want this week? I'll cook
Just
you
having
some so you
human
don't have to cook.
interaction that helps around
Yeah.
the baby.
Because it's
It
like
makes-
you could talk to people, but in hindsight, it was like, I wish I had that more. I wish I would have encouraged it more. And at the time too, like they were like, not at the time, they didn't mean to be, but they were COVID babies. So it was
Yeah.
like everyone was still freaked out about everything. So that kind of aided into it
I
too.
forgot about that. I didn't realize
Mhm.
that is where that lines up. Like,
Yeah.
you were even more, like, the whole world was isolated, let alone just you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
So it was a
that-
lot of
I could see that playing into a role. Everything that
Uh-huh.
I've heard from being a mom, I know I joke that it's going to be forever away, but I do love talking about it because I know you're never going to be ready, but, like, being as ready as I possibly can, like, all I've ever seen is, like, you figure it out. At some point, it all gets figured out.
take the baby with you. I was at a party this weekend, not a party, but at a like gathering of friends. And again, there's maybe 10 of us, but like one person had 3 grown boys and was pregnant with her 4th. The other lady was pregnant
Mhm.
with her 1st, like due any week now. So
Yeah.
she's like, any day now I can come out. Like, I really don't care. And then the person who was hosting, they had a 6-month-old. 6-month-old got passed around to the friends. They all know each other. And it was like the
Mhm.
mom was able to eat and do whatever. And then she was talking about it too. But it's like, then we went outside and they have a pool. Great. The dad took the kid and sat around the pool for a little bit. And then he was like, hey, I'm going to jump in. So the mom brought a pack and play out and set her in there. And then kind of then same thing. She sat there and talked and hung out. And it was
Mhm.
like the baby was there.
Take it with you.
Take it with you. Like,
All I
why?
know
You're
is,
obviously not taking the baby to a bar, but
Yeah.
you're like, you
I
got to
know,
go
no.
somewhere. Like,
Mm-hmm.
take the baby with you. Why not? They're
Yeah.
learning just as much as you are. I think the biggest thing is patience and
Mhm.
not caring if other people are judging. Because you get so worried of like, my kid's crying, like they're a kid. I feel like
Yeah.
I've told moms that are like freaking out. I'm like, you're okay. I'm like, do you need help? Like, I have obviously my kids. Like, do you need help? Like, you're okay. Like, you're doing a good job.
Mhm.
Nobody cares that your baby's crying, and if they do, they can fuck off. That's how I feel. If you care that a baby is crying, maybe that's the first time the mom's been able to get out of the house,
Mhm.
and they have a really fussy kid.
Yeah.
You can shut the fuck right up. That's like how I feel.
I think I want that like oomph. That like
What?
fuck you, I
Yeah.
don't care what anybody else thinks.
You just deal
I'm
with your
doing that.
kids. Yeah.
Mhm.
But
I
again,
think that's what
you
I'm
teach
waiting
them, and
for. I'm waiting for that to kick in to be
it
like,
won't.
I'm ready
It won't.
now.
It won't. You learn it. You learn it. It's the same with patience, because kids will
Mhm.
test your patience with, oh, we got to do this, or it has to go here. Like, just like, let's just like, we got to go. And they're like, I want to look at this.
Mhm.
They want to look at the ducks crossing the street, but you just want to get to the car and go home. Well, I
Yeah.
guess we're watching. And then you're like, well, look, those are cute little ducks, and they're walking across the street, and you know,
It might be really good for my mental health in that sense.
these will make
This
you
conversation's
pause
made me be
at
like,
life.
this is kind
Good.
of sweet because it is like that slow, like little life part.
Good.
Well, thanks for
I
answering
thought
my
about
question. I'm
this.
glad we got to talk about it because
Yes,
I asked
I
you
thought
that and
about
then I
it.
kind of forgot I asked you about it. So I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
No, I'm glad I thought about it a lot because I wanted a very serious answer for you.
No, I think that was a great answer and something that I didn't know because I just assumed you grew up with kids.
Not at all.
Well, now everybody else gets to learn. Thank you so much for listening. To podcast number 14?
14.
Make sure you follow, subscribe, like. We've got Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Spotify. And we learned if you have not listened to last week's episode, I talk about birds, coaches.
Somewhere in any of the corners.
It will be linked somewhere on here. And thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you next week.
Bye.
Bye.